Hi, in this video, we're going to explore the answer to the question, where do people with a growth mindset put their energy? Not all energy expenditures are the same, and we will delve into and kind of explore the idea of how to maximize the use of your energy. So let's dive into the answer to that question. First part of this video, we're going to talk about energy. We're going to talk about it in the context of human energy. We'll then look at the sources of energy for human beings. We're going to look at how stress impacts that energy expenditure and the efficiency of the sources of the energy. And then we're going to look at the mind, body, and spirit and how all three of those impact human energy. And lastly, of course, we'll look at somebody who did that well, who utilized their human energy to its full potential. So energy, the law of conservation of energy says that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to another. This applies within the human systems as well. And our human systems are intricately designed to work together, even though some are, they operate separately, but also simultaneously. You got your nervous system and your circulatory system, the immune system. You've got all these different systems within your body that are using energy sources to operate. And we have chemical energy going on inside of us, and we have electrical energy. Those are the two primary energy forms that the human body utilizes. The sources of that energy comes from both mind, body, and spirit. So let's talk about how these different sources of energy kind of play into efficient human actions or interactions. So obviously, our body, exercise, and the fuel needed to physically move is vital, right? So nutrition is going to play a very important role in the efficient transfer of the electrical energy and even chemical energy that's needed to move our bodies, right? Our daily operation, that is the conscious actions and the unconscious actions that are operating all those systems in the body. So we want to pay attention to that, right? Our thinking will also impact the efficiency of the use of energy. When we think negative thoughts, that negative energy interferes with the fluid transfer of energy from one form to another. Negative energy requires more energy than positive energy. So when we think positively, our emotional makeup in our body works more efficiently. Can especially be seen like within the immune system. When we think negative thoughts, it actually negatively impacts the ability of the immune system to fight diseases. It's been shown in numerous studies. So thinking positively, more efficient use of energy. Thinking negatively, less efficient use of energy. Then on a spiritual level, we get energy through things like breathing and the oxygen we intake, and not just the thinking. There's this whole realm of thoughts and energy from those thoughts, the positive thinking that I just mentioned, that impact our sources of energy. In other words, we can access energy not just from the fuel that we bring in, but from the very thinking that we do outside of ourselves. And this is something that a lot of people do not pay close enough attention to, which is why this idea of a growth mindset is so vitally important and positive mindset to the efficient energy expenditure and the optimization of all our body systems running and working together. So let's talk for a couple minutes about stress, because stress is something we cannot avoid. Living creates stress. We have stress. And stress actually can be good, right? When we put stress on our bodies, we grow stronger. We become more flexible. Becoming more flexible requires, by definition, to put stress on your muscles. Same with building muscular strength. And the same applies emotionally, right? When we experience negative emotions, we are to be learning something from those negative emotions that help us grow and become more efficient and better at living and experiencing other situations similar to that. That, again, by definition, creates stress. You cannot improve, you cannot grow without change, and change by nature, its very nature, is stressful. So, this is where this idea of stress is enhancing mindset is so crucial and so important. However, it's important to recognize that ongoing stress, when you are in the emotion of that stress, and when you carry that emotion, that stress constantly or over extended periods of time, it has detrimental impact on your energy and your physiology. Your health will deteriorate with prolonged exposure to stress. And we're talking about carrying that with you. This is why it is so vitally important to learn to let go of negative emotions that you haven't resolved, you've been holding on to. This is one of the most important things you can do for having more energy to go through the day, for optimizing your entire human body systems. In particular, I'm going to be talking about the immune system, right? When you're holding on to stress and the emotion of the stress, that negatively impacts the immune system. It is requiring energy to hold on to those emotions that essentially is being taken away from the ability to use that energy to run the immune system or other parts of your body. So, this idea of stress and understanding it, not holding on to it, letting go of the emotions of the stress, learning from it is so vitally important to have the energy you need to go through a day and live that day to the fullest, maximizing your full potential and and running your mind, body, spirit optimally. There have been so many studies done on this impact on the immune system and your circulatory system and the whole all the body systems, your mind body connection. So stress, anxiety, depression, all these things that come from negative thinking weigh on your immune system. You become more susceptible to disease. For example, a German medical doctor did a study where he found that the onset of cancer, 1 to 3 years prior to those first symptoms, there was a significant emotional experience that that triggered the type of cancer, and he uh, categorized or cataloged the type of stress with the type of cancer. I have done my own little studies with this, not to the extent that he did, but they have matched up with his findings. My wife, who passed away from cancer, experienced high levels of work-related stress in a place. She worked for a school system that was like a second family for her. She spent 45 or 55 years in this school system as a student, as a teacher, as a coach. It was literally like a second family to her. And under the current leadership at that time, a very toxic work environment had been going on, and she couldn't digest what was happening to her school district. That is like a metaphor for colon cancer, which is what the cancer was that she developed. You can see this time and time again. Cancer, heart disease, um, aging itself, the very process of aging gets accelerated under stress. So, all of these things impact your ability to fight off common COVID, to fight off the flu, to fight off pneumonia, to fight off common diseases, right? This, the less energy you have, the more likely you are to get those, and the more likely those are to become more serious when you don't have the energy needed to really let your body run. So, people with a positive, with a growth mindset, will have more energy available to maximize their health and well-being than those who don't have that mindset. So let's look real quickly at a real life example. It has been said, and you can actually see it, that presidents of the United States are probably in one of the, if not the most stressful job on the planet. The nature of their job and the position of the United States in world affairs, they have an awful lot of high level crises that fall on their plate, with the buck stopping with them, so to speak. And if you look at pictures of presidents from the beginning of their term to the end of the term, you very often see that aging process. And in some presidents, that aging process is dramatic. One president in particular who was well known for his ability to just kind of go with the flow, so to speak, and seemed to age less than many other presidents, despite his age. At the time, he was the oldest president to won a first term, and that was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was noted for his optimism. He was noted for communicating that optimism to other people. He was noted for being able to delegate responsibility to other people, kind of let go of some of those stressors. And when you look at pictures and all, Ronald Reagan seemed to have aged less and aged better as a president than many other presidents. And he's a great example of just the importance, the ability to think positively and to have those kind of characteristic traits of a growth mindset. As always, I invite you and encourage you to subscribe to our channel, check out other videos there. You also might want to check out our webinar, free webinar, Emotional Hygiene, that talks about some of these importance of this taking care of your mental and emotional health and well-being. The link to that webinar, that free webinar, is in the description for this video. Once again, it's a webinar on emotional hygiene. So check that out today.